Hey, what's up everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. And in this video we're going to talk about the dashboard which I made with the help of the Excel, VBA, Power Query and the Power Automate. So yeah, I will just show you the dashboard first. It's here, the Excel. So yeah, this dashboard has been made with the help of the Excel. As you can see, first of all, you can see the dashboard has been maximized to full window. So yeah, I have removed all the formula bar, headings, worksheet tabs and stuff like that to get maximum space in one single screen. On the top you can see that the external data connection has been disabled. This is because there has been integration with the Power Query, so external connections are there. So for that I will just enable the content, and yeah, now you can see the whole screen of the dashboard. So there are three sheets, namely one is the dashboard sheet, one is the database sheet, and one is the report for partner sheet. Okay, so let's talk about first of all the dashboard sheet. Now you can scroll between the sheets either by pressing this button. So these are the buttons are there. If I go to the database button, it will go to the database, or you can just use the shortcuts like control and page up to move towards the sheets. Okay, so now as you can see here, the database sheet, now the source of the dashboard, the first is the serial number. So I will give you just a brief in short. So there are 8 partners in the organizations, and under each partner there is a bunch of the client which has been allotted to that partner, or the audit of that client is signed by that partner, and under each partner there are bunch of the audit managers and audit coordinators. Now audit coordinators will report to the audit managers, and audit manager will ultimately report it to the partner. So if you go down, you will see there are total 121 clients, right? And if you scroll between the partner groups, there are total 8 partners. There are around 11 audit coordinators present, and audit managers, even I'm not aware of the count, but it might be something around 10 to 11 only. Now the priority is 1, 2, 3 for the time being, because 1 stands for listed companies and listed clients and the bank and NBFC huge banks. So priority 1 is there, then there is a priority 2 and priority 3. The client type is there, can just go for the drop down to see all the client types. The year end can be 30 June, 31st December and 31st March, as the case may be. Now the dashboard which I made actually has 3 status 1, 2, 3. Rather than saying this 3 status, it has 3 activities, and each activity has its own steps, right? So in this status 1, 2, 3, there are total 9 steps in each status. So as you can see, there are total 9 steps in each status. And what these steps mean is that, as you can see in the top right, step 1 stands for the engagement is not even applicable. So for that client, for that particular year, here year means the financial year 2022 and 23, that audit of that engagement is not applicable, so we are not going to do the audit of the same. Step 2 stands for the engagement not started. That means the audit for that client for financial year 2022-23 is applicable, but we have not started. And from 3 to 8 there are some work in progress. I mean, we have started, and there are some 5 to 6 steps which are nothing but the 3 to 8. And the last is nothing but the step 9, which is nothing but the engagement has been completed, it's finished. So for each client there has been some steps based on the data, and the start month is nothing but the audit start when we do the start, and the end month is where we are, this is estimated again, end month, where we are supposed to, as per our estimation, end the audit. The next is the ERP which has been used by the client. Any comments you need to add, you can add in this database. And the last one is the work in progress. Now here I need to focus on this. So if for one particular client, status 1, 2, 3, the step is 1, that means the engagement is not applicable. We are not going to do the audit for that particular client for financial year 2022-23. The status will be not applicable. For status 1 and 2, it is not applicable, and for status 3, it is not started. That means the step 2 is there in status 3. That means for status 1 and 2, even though the audit is not applicable, but for status 3 it is applicable, but we are not started. So the overall status will be not started. In all the residual categories other than this 2, the status will be work in progress. That means for status 1, it is not started. For status 2 and 3, it is applicable, it is started, but it is in the process. So the overall status will be work in progress. So there is a long huge formula which has been attached to it. Right now you can't able to see this because the formula, this is nothing but the database which has been connected to the Power Query, right? When I show you the individual list, you will see the formula which has been embedded in this. Okay, so this is the overall organization hierarchy, where the audit coordinator will report to the audit manager, who will ultimately report it to the partner. Okay, so now we move to the first sheet, our dashboard sheet. Now as you can see on the left hand side and on the right hand side, there are some slicers which has been used. So let's talk about first of all slicers. So the first slicer on the extreme top left side, we have the partner, then they have the client. Now when I select the partner, it is very much dynamic in nature. As you can see, if we select the partner, the automatic whatever the fields which has been attached to it or connected to it will automatically change. Right now you can see that for let's say for partner 2 there are only this much clients, but let's say for partner 1 we have a lot of the clients and we have the scroll bar also. So if we want to search any of the client, rather than searching through this, I have added one search bar here. If we click on this drop down menu, and you can just search whatever the client you want. Suppose for example I want Maggio, so I will search for that and I will just click on that and press OK. So now the Maggio client has been selected and all the other fields has been dynamically changed with respect to change in client name. Okay. Now on the right hand side we can see the audit coordinator's name. So there are total 11 coordinators which are present in our organization, let's say, and the priority is there, that is 1 2 3. The year end is there, 30 June, 31st December and the 31st March, and the status. Now the status is either completed, not commenced and work in progress. So completed means we can say that status 1 2 3 the step is 9, or status for 1 and 2 it is not applicable, that is status step 1, but for status 3 it is step 9. That means even though the status 1 and 2 it is not applicable, but for status 3 we completed all the procedures. That means the status is overall status is completed. Okay, so this is the story of slicer. Let's move to this overall status. So it is a donut chart which has been made, and it shows overall we can say that 98% of the clients are in work in progress, 1% of the client base of one is completed, and 2% is not completed. Now you might be thinking that 98 plus 2 is 100 and 100 plus 1 is 101. Yeah, it is of that, but if you can see this has been rounded off, so it might be something around 97.23 and stuff like that. So in that sense it is an 100% total, but since it has been rounded up to the whole number, it is showing that. Okay, now you might be seeing the audit engagement details and the comments. So right now this has been blank. Why? Because we have not selected any other client. So audit engagement details, this comments, this status 1 2 3 will appear only if a particular client is selected. So even if I select one partner group, it will not show up. It will show up only if a client has been selected. So let's say for example I selected a Corona group, it will show up. It will show up who is the audit coordinator, it will show up who is the audit manager, it will also show up the year end, client type and the ERB which has been used. Right now the comments are in blanks. Now let's move to the overall status 1 2 3. So this is nothing but whatever this is showing in the overall status donut chart, it was in percentage, but here the same has been converted into the absolute numbers. And the same is applicable to the status 1, status 2 and status 3. So these are nothing but the conversion of the percentage into the absolute numbers. On the top you can see there are some 4 buttons. Out of this 4 button, database and report P are just in hyperlink to the sheet. So you can either press control page up and page down, use the formula shortcuts, or you can use these buttons to navigate between the sheets. Now this refresh all pivot is a VBA code I will show up in the later part of the video, which will refresh all the pivot tables which has been there, and any kind of Power Query connection if they're present in our dashboard, it will also refresh that. The full screen is what I will show you. So if I double click my top bar, it will just minimize, and if I go scroll up maximize, I will get to show all this home ribbon, we can say the formula bar is there and stuff like that. So in order to full screen this, and in order to get a maximum screen size under one window without scrolling, so I just press this full screen, it will just maximize the window. Okay, and is this last saved info, which is nothing but the date and timestamp as soon as you just save this workbook. So right now it's 27 December and 2:32. So if I just save this, let's say, see it's updated to 2:33 p.m. So it gives you the timestamp for the last time when you saved this workbook. Now let's move to the status 1 and status 2 and status 3. This is nothing but the line chart. As earlier mentioned, this is very respect to client, so only if you select the client it will show up. So let's say for example we select Bohem Group. So as you can see here, the step 9 is there, right? So step 9, we already saw that step 9 means the engagement has been completed. So this right after the status 1 and 2 and 3 will show you the current step. So since it is status 9, you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is done. Now you might be wondering why the same is not for 1, 2. As earlier mentioned, 1 is for the not applicable and 2 is for the not started. So we can say that either there are only 3 possibilities, right? Either for that client the status is either step 1 or step 2, or something like it's in work in progress, it might be step 3 to 5, then 3 to 9. In the status 2, you can see the current step is 6. So here it's 3 step 3 has been done, step 4 has been done, step 5 has been done, step 6 has also been done. And in the status 3 it's been step 5. So 3, 4, 5 has been done. So this was an overall brief about the dashboard sheet of my dashboard. Now I already explained you the database sheet, so I will move towards the report partner sheet. But before going to the report partner sheet, you might be wondering that there are this upload bulk Excel button. Now this is nothing but the VBA which is behind that. I will explain that part later in the later video. Now let's move to the report partner. Now this is nothing but a PDF report which will be mailed to the partners via Power Automate. But right now you can see here that you can just put your company logo, company website and address. Again here there are 2 buttons to navigate between the sheets. Here also there is an uploadable PDF which is nothing but the VBA macro that I will explain in the video in a later part. And as you can see here, the date is there, the partner is there, in 2022-23 is a financial year. Now if I select so basically here the P3 partner group is showing because I selected that in my dashboard. So if I unselect this, it will not show anything. So yeah, I just unselected that and it will not show anything. So it will show only if the partner has been selected. So let's say I select the partner 5, and now if we go to the report partner sheet, it will show me the partner 5. And you can see this donor chart is very similar to the dashboard, and this is the donor chart I divided into 3 parts. That is nothing but your status 1, 2 and 3. So as you can see, status 1, 2 and 3, and with respect to donor chart we have the percentage, and that percentage has been converted into the absolute numbers. Okay, that's it for the dashboard. So yeah, now let's move on to the process flow diagram which will explain a better understanding regarding what will happen after the dashboard. So yeah, let me just open it. Here we go. So yeah, so as you can see here the blue rectangles which is namely the audit coordinators are nothing but the 11 audit coordinators. Here is me, means myself, and here are the audit managers to whom the audit coordinators are reporting. Now here is the Power Query, here is the OneDrive, and here is the Power Automate. Now to get you a better understanding, on the top right we have specified that the green arrow specifies the automated process and the purple arrow will specify the manual process. So the first step is that on every Friday, okay, before that I would like to mention you guys that I have made my audit coordinators a separate Excel. So to give you a better understanding, this is my database, right? So this database is for, let's say, 11 audit coordinators. For each of the coordinators I have bifurcated that database and made them separately. I will also show you that. Okay, here is this. On the individual list there are total 11, what you can say, the database. If we just choose for Arij, if you just open up the database, it will contain only this database, but it will be restricted to the Arij only. So this 11 database I have already made to my coordinators separately, right? But what I want is now to make them update that Excel file and mail me on every Friday. But there might be some situation where they just forgot to mail. So for that I'm sending a reminder mail through Power Automate that will send it on every Friday, let's say 11 o'clock or let's say 1 o'clock, whatever the time which has been configured on the Power Automate. So the first step is that from me to the audit coordinators, mail to coordinators on Friday as a reminders, and this will be done by the Power Automate, right? And as a reply on Friday, you will get the updated Excel which I have sent to them earlier, and they will usually do this on manually or Power Automate, that does not matter. So I am assuming that they're doing it manually, so it's a purple flow from audit coordinators to me, that they will mail me the whatever the updated Excel on Friday, right? So these are the first two stages, but there is one Power Automate flow which has been added, that is nothing but the third step. What is that third step? Is that as soon as an audit coordinator mail me an updated Excel, Power Automate will pick up that attachment from Outlook and will put it on a specified OneDrive directory, right? So that's why this pickup from the Outlook and putting it on the OneDrive is done by the Power Automate. And since it is done by the Power Automate, the green arrows has been used, that is nothing but an automated process. Now once the files are uploaded or on the OneDrive, I will go my dashboard on, let's say, Saturday, and will click one refresh button. Now what is this refresh button? This database has been connected through whatever the files which has been uploaded or by Power Automate on OneDrive, right? It has been connected through a Power Query. So when I just click the refresh button, that clicking of the refresh button is itself a manual process. That means it is a purple process, and this has been done via Excel, and it will connect all the files which has been uploaded on the OneDrive. And since it is connecting and doing some transformations, it has been green process since it's an automated process, and this has been done by the Power Query. Now once my database has been refreshed, right? So whatever the database is there, which is the source of the dashboard, which is up to date, I will upload this database, or rather than saying the database, I will upload that dashboard and that PDF report partner which I showed you earlier through VBA on the OneDrive. So that is the fifth stage. Again, it's through VBA. It is an automated process. It is nothing but me uploading whatever the reports are there on the OneDrive, right? And on Monday, the Power Automate will pick up that reports. So for every partner there will be two reports. One is the dashboard for that respective partner, and the PDF I will show that in the later video for sure. So Power Automate will pick up that file from the OneDrive and will mail it to the audit managers, and this is nothing but the last stage, which is sixth number of the stage, and this is again fully automated and will happen on Monday. So this was the overall automations and overall process flow once I made the dashboard. So I hope you get a better understanding. So yeah, so now let's move on to the VBA. I will show you the VBA code behind that two buttons we saw earlier, that is save bulk PDF and save bulk Excel. So yeah, let's go to the dashboard and let's just go it and maximize this. So there are two buttons, namely one is the, you can see here, the upload bulk Excel, and one on the report partner sheet, which is nothing but the upload bulk PDF. Okay, just want to inform you that in this dashboard, whenever there is a password which is asking, the password is for the simplicity 1 2 3 4 5. So now I just open up my VBA projects by pressing Alt and F11, going through the dashboard, but it will ask for me the password, that is nothing but the 1 2 3 4 5. Just pressing the OK button, and as you can see, there are some modules which has been attached to it, and there are some sheets. Now let's talk about first of all this workbook. Now this workbook, whatever the code which is written to it is applies uniformly. So it is not like a button which is nothing but the manual trigger pressing, after which the macro will be run. It will run on whenever you open up the workbook, right? Okay, so as you can see, I can't actually in detail explain all the VBA code, but if you want to explain me in detail all the VBA code, let me know in the comment sections. I will make a separate video for that. But as you can see, you can get an overall view. Like there is one button for the refresh all pivot buttons, which is refreshing all the pivot tables which has been there. So this dashboard, there are only 3 sheets on the front end, but on the back end there are 7 to 8 sheets which has been working around, which has been hidden. I will also show you how that bit has been hidden. Here you can see the display status bar has been false, display full screen is true. That means it will it will show in a full screen. Formula bar has been disabled, right? Then there was this button, or not button, but what you can say, a save as timestamp, that is with the timestamp that will update as soon as you save the workbook. So the tiny code for that is this. Then there is a one log file. I will also show you that log file, which is nothing but once you just save this dashboard, it will keep the log of that. It will show the date and time as well as the person who has saved this. So for that, how the VBA is identify the person, it just identifying your username, right? So the code for that is this. And now you can see there are a lot of files which I told you that has been hidden. There are almost 5 to 6 files which has been hidden, and the properties Excel sheet very hidden. That means even if you just enable the worksheet tabs, right, worksheet tabs are here. If you just put it through here and just click on the right click and unhide, it will not show. So that means there is only one way to visible this. I have already written that you need to use the Excel sheet visible. That has to be here, and since it is password protected VBA project, so only the person who has the password that will be only able to see what are the backend sheets are going around. Then we have just specified the zoom is default 100, grid length has been false, headings has been false. So these are nothing but the code which has been running as soon as you open up the Excel. So whenever you open up the Excel, you get the window, the small rectangle window, that is Excel has been working, and then there's a percentage of opening the workbook. So in that process, this code is running around, and the last part is just to so basically this is the code which has been enabled only when you just close the dashboard. So if you don't use this code and if you close the dashboard, every other Excel which you open after that will be fully maximized, formula bar will be removed, headings will be removed. So to avoid that, whenever the dashboard has been closed, it will revert the setting which has been applied while opening the dashboard. Now this was the universal code, but now you can see there are some 4-5 modules there present. So we will go one by one each module. So let's go for the first module. First module is again for that timestamp whenever you save the dashboard. So it is for that. Use the function called as last saved, and it will give me the date and time after the workbook has been saved. Let's go to the second module. Second module is nothing but your display username. So I told you there is a log file which show the display of the username. So for that, to get an identification who is the user, this is the code which has been there. The third module is very much complex, so I will take that in the later part, but let's move to the fourth module. Fourth module is again a full screen button which I showed you. Pressing after that, the entire screen will be fully, the status bar will be removed, and the formula bar will also be removed. The module 8, I forgot to rename it as module 5, but let's go for this. Now this is the code for the save as bulk PDF. So whatever, once we press this button, right, this code will run. So I will show you what exactly is happening. Once we press this button, right, the PDF of this report will be generated and it will be uploaded to the OneDrive. The path of which OneDrive is given here. So this is the OneDrive for my personal OneDrive, and once I click on this upload PDF button, so there are 8 partners, right? So for every partner it will generate this PDF. Right, so I will just give the look of how this code is working around. So for that, this is the code for making sure that any other filter has been if there. So on the dashboard, let's say I just press this kind of, let's say these are the filters I have been used, and then I press the upload bulk PDF, right? So it will just unclear all the filters of the slicer and they'll work around. So for that, to unclear all the slicers before running the actual code, I use this code. And then actually process it is doing. I will also show you the sample run in the later part of the video. But what it is actually doing is that it is going for, let's say it is currently in the report partner sheet. So first of all, it will move to the dashboard sheet, right? It will click on this partner. It will again move to the report partner sheet. It will take the print of this, right, convert it into the PDF and will upload it on this OneDrive. So as you can see, for first one, the partner 1 is selected and the other ones are false, right? Then you can see this is the main export. So I used it to export it to the PDF, and the file path is path p1 and file name. So when you go to the path is n5. So whatever the n5, so n5 is this, so this is the link. right? After that, P1 is the folder which has already been created on the OneDrive, and the fname is nothing but the name of the file. So what is an fname? Fname is client name underscore the financial year. What is the client name? Client name is D8 and the financial year is D9. So the file name will be P1 underscore 2022-23. That will be nothing but a PDF file which has been uploaded by Excel through VBA to the OneDrive. I hope you got an overview of this, how this code is working. And once you got the first I will say PDF for one partner, I just repeated that process for the other partners. As you can see, this is for the partner 1, partner 2, partner 3, partner 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this was a kind of very simple, I will say, a bulk PDF. But let's move to the more complex. So to start with, this is the code for this bulk upload Excel. So as earlier mentioned, I am mailing my audit managers two reports. One is the PDF which we saw right now, and one is an respective dashboard. Now what do you mean by the respective dashboard? Now respective dashboard will nothing but this dashboard itself, but it will be only for a particular partner. So for partner 1, the dashboard will contain only partner 1 clients, right? And so on. But also we need to make sure that this buttons are not there, right? Because this button, upload bulk Excel, this button should not be reviewed by the partner. So I'm also removing this buttons, or rather saying this path, stuff like that which is not necessary for partner or manager, as the case may be. I'm also removing that part also, right? So for that is the whole code is sitting around. So I'll just show you. So basically there are two paths you can see here. One is the path of the OneDrive which will be used to upload, but one is the local drive path. Now what is the local drive path? So what is happening here is that my code will copy this dashboard 8 times because 8 partners are there, and it will put on a specified directory. Now what is the specified directory? On the dashboard, if you go on the test, if you go, there are some folders, right? So first of all, it will go to test and will check if there are folders present or not, right? If there are not, P1, P2, P3 and folders. So if the test folder itself is a blank, it will create P1, P2, P3 and respective folders and will copy the dashboard, right? And we'll also rename. So what will be the rename? Rename will be like P1 underscore 2023 underscore client wise report, right? Right now it is containing all the clients. It is not containing the respective client, right? So once it has been saved, it will open up each one of the partner. It will open up the partner. It will open up and it will go through the database and will delete all the partners other than the relevant partners client database. It will also remove any kind of unnecessary stuff like this enter path, this links, this buttons. Then on the dashboard it will also refresh, because once you click the refresh button, the slicer will be having only one partner, right? So there are many stuffs which has been going on. So I will just show you the code. Now you will get a good understanding. So here I am checking whether the directory has the folders or not. If the directory doesn't have the folders, it will create the folder and it will also create, or rather than saying create, it will copy and paste the dashboard, right? And now as you can see here, I will just show you the process, center process for one partner, because it is just nothing but the same process for other partners as well. Okay, so here first of all, the database itself is a Power Query connection, so I'm deleting that. I'm just deleting the query, not the database. Also I'm delisting the table because there are some issues if we don't delete this, so that's why deleting. So whatever the database will be there, it will be the hard-coded text. It will not be table, it will not be a Power Query connection for partners. Then I'm going to the consolidated sheet, which is the database, and just removing all the buttons which is not necessary for the partner, all the links which are there. Then I'm going to the database and selecting all the partners except the partner for which I'm making the dashboard, and deleting all the clients, as you can see here, enter arrow and delete, right? And then I'm also refreshing the dashboard so that only the relevant partners database will be there, right? And as you can see here on the downside, I just use the save also, because once you are done with the changes, you need to save also. So right now till this code we have the partner 1 Excel but in the local directory, but we need to upload it to the OneDrive also, right? So for that this is the code which will upload this whatever we have saved the dashboard to the OneDrive, and yeah, this will be done, right? And this is nothing but for partner 1. The same will be applicable for partner 2, 3 and 4 and 5. You will get a better understanding when I just done with the sample run. I will also show you a sample run how the things are working. Okay, so now let's move to the Power Query. So basically, once the audit coordinator mails me the updated Excel, the Power Automate will pick up that Excel and will upload it on the OneDrive. That the thing is happening on the Friday, and on Saturday I will just click one refresh button with the help of the Power Query and connect to the whatever the files which has been dropped at OneDrive by the Power Automate, and my database will be very much refreshed to the up to date. So we'll show you the Power Query connections and how are the steps which has been added. So this is the database you can see, and the Power Query connection is also there, but to see that, first of all I need to just small size this. Then on the data we need to go to the show queries and connections. As you can see here, there is a Power Query connections, and just double click this. So this will open up the Power Query editor, and these are the steps which has been added to it. So as you can see, first of all, the source, as you can see here, the C uses admin OneDrive. So it is connecting to my OneDrive, and it is pulling up all the dashboards files. These are nothing but the 11 files which has been stored at the OneDrive by the Power Automate as soon as the same has been received to me by my audit coordinators. So I'm applying all the relevant steps to combine them and to look at a presentable form, and the last steps, or these are the steps which has been used for it, and this is the output which is coming up, and this is the output which is, can say that, typed into the Excel. So there is no kind of the formulas. So even if the individual list has some kind of the formulas, it will not show up. So for example, let's go for individual list for Alicia, right? So as you can see, the Excel is not opening because the Power Query editor is open. So I need to close this Power Query editor to let Excel open up. Okay, as you can see here, there was one formula which I told you that it is here for the work in progress, but this is the formula which is for to identify whether the overall status is not started, not applicable, completed or work in progress. But this formula will not be there in my main dashboard. Why? Because the same has been hard-coded texted to Power Query. So this was the Power Query connections. So I just need to go this and just press this refresh button. This will refresh all my data. I don't need to do manual task. So this was the story with the Power Query. Now let's move to the Power Automate, which is very much interesting tool from the Microsoft. So here is go. So this is the Power Automate, and I have 3 flows here. So the first flow was an email to coordinator, which is nothing but the reminder mail which has been sent by me to all the coordinators on Friday to send me the updated Excel. Then once they give me the Excel, I am again using one more flow which will pick up that attachment from the Outlook and will save it on OneDrive. This will ideally happen on Friday only. And on the Monday, once I upload the PDF from my dashboard through VBA to OneDrive, it will pick up that reports and will mail it to the managers. So let's go one by one. All these 3 flows I will explain you. It's very user friendly. There is no coding which has been required. So let's talk about the first flow. I will just go for edit here to get an view of the overall flow. We just need to wait. Okay, as you can see here is there, this is the flow. So let's go to the recurrence. So basically this has been scheduled. And what is the schedule? Schedule is like the on Friday, let's say 11 p.m. Okay, so I here use the 1 p.m. So on Friday, every Friday 1 p.m. it will run, right? And what it will do, so every Friday it will mail the reminder. So as you can see, there are 11 coordinators for 11 all different coordinators. I used a sample mail only for the this video, but in actual you will have the respective coordinators mail. The subject is there, reminder update on audit dashboard, and the body says that your audit coordinator kindly mail me the updated audit status on your audit clients. You can also put some CC and BCC. This is a very interesting field. This lets you to send on behalf of other people. So right now I am Sangfords, right? So I can say when this field is empty, this will be sent by me. But if I want to send a mail on behalf of other, right, I can do that also. But for that you need to toggle one setting in the Office 365 admin center. There is an attachment also and all these advanced options, but for right now we are just using this simple subject with no attachment text mail, right? And this will run on every Friday 1 o'clock, right? I will also show you the sample run, so yeah, stay tuned for that. Now let's move to the next flow. The next flow was once the coordinator mails me the Excel, it will automatically pick up that and will store it on OneDrive. So the trigger point for the last flow was nothing, it was just the time, right? Once the time is 1 o'clock it will trigger. But for this is not a scheduled time flow, this is a trigger is that when the mail has been arrived. Now I have put it up some conditions, right, subject to satisfaction of which this flow will run. What are the conditions? First of all, my mail, whatever the mail is coming, it is not I have not applied any kind of the rules in my Outlook. If I applied the rules, I need to just specify the folder, but default I have not applied any rules, so default it will come under the inbox. This is the first condition. The second condition is that it will be mailed to this address, mail ID, from whom, again for the sample purpose I am using this Gmail, but you can add your all team members email ID. You can also add any CC per person to pick it. Then the third condition is that it should include attachments. Now there are two kind of the attachments usually we see. Ideally it has to be in Excel, but there are many such scenarios where the sender has a signature in which the JPEG is there. So we need to avoid that, because if you run this flow, ideally Power Automate will treat both as attachments. So it will store on OneDrive both the signature file, which is the JPEG, and also the Excel. The fourth condition I applied is the subject filter should contain this. So it will either contain only the audit status, that's fine, or let's say audit status for financial year 2022, that will be also fine. So whatever the subject is there, these two words has to be contained in it, and it will pick up only that mails which are having the attachment. So if someone mails me without any attachment, this flow will not even trigger. Now these are some 4 to 5 conditions subject to satisfaction of which the flow will run. So what it is first doing, so I'm just converting the time, date and time. So usually the Outlook time in the Power Automate is your UTC, so I'm just converting it to the Indian time, both the date as well as the time. And now is the main thing, that is nothing but the avoiding that signature JPEG files. So I have attached one condition. What this condition looks for? This condition states that the attachment name contains .xlsx, so it is looking for only that attachment which is nothing but having the extension of .xlsx. If yes, then it will move to this. If no, it will do nothing. So that means if one of the coordinator mails me a PDF file, right, subject to satisfaction of all these conditions, it will do nothing. But if he mails me both PDF as well as Excel, it will do the job for only Excel. What it is doing, so it is uploading a file on my OneDrive in this directory along with this name and the content, and in addition to that it is also keeping a track of it. So this is nothing but an Excel file which is nothing but kept on the OneDrive, and the Power Automate will update that Excel file. I will also show you that Excel file. So this is the logs Excel, just open it and it will show you the logs. So these are the logs which I performed yesterday. So you can get an understanding right from which of the coordinators you have they have mailed. So as it can act as a proof rather than searching through the Outlook. And this is nothing but a very automatic. The Power Automate will access this log file and will update on its own. So this is a basic overview of the second flow. I hope you get understanding. Apply to is nothing but the loop. So let's say the audit coordinator sends me 2 Excel files. Ideally it should not, but in the case if he sends me 2 Excel files, so for 2 Excel file it will run. So it's nothing but acting as a loop. Okay, so now let's go to the last flow, which is nothing but which will run on Monday, which is nothing but again email to my audit managers. So yeah, so again let's go for the recurrence. Again it's a schedule flow. So on Monday it will have some timing. So let's say, oh yeah, it's again on Monday 13, that means 1 p.m. What it is doing, so it is not only sending the mail, right? Sending the mail is there in the last flow action, but before it is picking up the file. So I told you that there are two files which has been uploaded through VBA, that is, one is the Excel and one is the PDF, right? So the first two flows are only taking up the metadata of that Excel. Now metadata includes your name, the extension, the properties, size and other stuff, right? So the first two flows are picking up the metadata. The third and fourth flow are actually picking up the content of that file. So whatever the table which has been updated by the audit coordinator, it is picking up that content. So I will just show you. For that, you just need to with the help of the file picker, go through your OneDrive and pick up the file, right? For content also, you just need to pick up the file only, and then when you mail it to your managers or partner, as the case may be, you need to write his or her mail ID, the subject and the body, and on the attachment there are two attachments, right? The Excel and the PDF. So attachment name, attachment content, this is for Excel. As you can see, when I hover, it will showing me the p1_excel. Here also it is an Excel, it is here, it's for p1 PDF, and here again it's for p1 PDF. So this is a basic overview. I hope you get an understanding. This tool is very much interesting, and you can also try this tool. So at every 1 o'clock this flow will run. Okay, now let's talk about the Power Automate flows. Now there are 3 flows in the Power Automate, as you can see here, and the first flow was on Friday to remind the audit coordinator to send the updated Excel file. So that is the third flow, that is an email to coordinator. So let's just run this flow. So once we run this flow, now ideally this is scheduled flow, so it will run on every Friday at 1 p.m. but for the sample I am manually triggering the flow so that you can see how the mail are being sent. So here is the flow. I will just click on test and the manual test, and I will just test this flow. For the sample purpose, I just added only one email ID, and here is the email ID. So ideally there are total 11 coordinators present, so there will be 11 mails which will be there, and as you can see here, you can just track how the flow is running. It usually takes some time depending upon how many coordinators is there, but yeah, I will just put it as it is, and we'll just roll forward to whenever the mails are done. As you can see, our flow ran successfully. It took some bit of the time, but let's see on the Gmail. As you can see here, there are 3 emails coming from myself only, that dear audit coordinator, kindly mail me the updated audit status on your alerted client. So ideally there has to be 11 mails from me. So 3 are there, and then there is 4th, 5th, 6th, then there are 4th again mails, that comes up to 10, and the last one is 11. So yeah, so now our flow ran successfully. So we reminded our audit coordinators to send the updated Excel. Now suppose that they mail us the updated Excel, so that will trigger our next flow to put it on the OneDrive file, but to trigger it I need to manually send. So for the time being, I have just configured that flow that the sender will be this email ID and the recipient will be me. So what I will do is that I will send an email to myself, and the filter has to be necessary content 2 words, namely the audit status, and this filter is not case sensitive, so I will just write audit status for financial 22-23, and I will just write PFA, and let's say for example all this mails are coming from respective audit coordinator, but for the time being I'm just putting all this 11 mails in one go only. Ideally this will not be the case at all. 11 audit coordinators might mail you at different times, so whenever they mail you, at each point of time the Power Automate flow will trigger. Now I just need to check the center is correct, the recipient is correct, the subject filter is correct, and it has the files containing .xlsx format. So yeah, now let's just send this, and this will trigger my next flow, which will take these files from Outlook and will put it on OneDrive file and will also update that Excel file of logs which I showed you earlier, right? So I will just go to, this is the flow. I need to go to run history. Okay, I got the mail. Right now it's showing of the yesterday run. I will just refresh. Let's see whether this has succeeded or not. Okay, it will take some time to do the job or to trigger itself. As you can see, it's running still. 27th December, current time it's running. We will wait for 5 to 10 seconds to see the output whether it has succeeded or not. As you can see, our flow on 27 December 4:58 PM has been succeeded. So now I'll go to this OneDrive, right, and I have put it all the files here. Here is the folder, and as you can see, the modified date is less than 1 minute ago. That means these are the files which I sent to me. The audit coordinator sent to myself, which has been picked up by the Power Automate and put it on here. Now as you can see, let's see the logs and whether these logs have been updated or not. So there has to be 11 entries of current today's date. Okay, I can see here 27 December. There are entries which are there: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So there are 11 entries in the Excel file of the 27th December. So this, from this you can take a have a track of any audit coordinator who has not mailed you even after reminding him. So yeah. Okay, now it's time to look for the Power Query. So once I get the updated audit Excels from the audit coordinators, right, the Power Automate will pick up that and put it on the OneDrive file. And on Saturday when I refresh my database, ideally Power Query will connect it to that OneDrive, and any updates are there, it will be updated. So my database, which is nothing but the source of the dashboard, will be up to date. So let's go to the dashboard and database, and as you can see here, the database is here. I need to minimize this in order to show you the queries and connections. So yeah, here is the queries and connections. I have shown you the steps. I hope you got some brief idea regarding what are the steps which I added to transform my raw data into this. Now I just need to press refresh button, but let's try something. I will go to my directory, right, and let's change Adalin's client some status, and let's see when we refresh our database whether the same is update or not. So let's go for Larson group, right, and here is 1 2 3. I want to put it as step 9. So this Larson group is the engagement has been completed, so I will put 9 for all these steps. Previously it was 1 2 3, right. I will just save this, right, and I will just close this. Right now just wait for 5 to 10 seconds, and then only when you refresh this it will up to date. So yeah, now if I refresh this, right, and the data has been loaded. Now let's go to Adalin. As you can see, for the Larson group it was previously 1 2 3. Right now it's step 9, so that means the data has been updated. Okay, so now it's time to show you guys the sample run of the VBA code. So we have two buttons, namely the upload bulk PDF and upload bulk Excel. So let's talk about the upload bulk PDF. So here is the button and here is the OneDrive path. Before I move ahead, I would like to show you the OneDrive folder. So here is my OneDrive, and there are 8 folders of 8 respective partners, and each folder there is nothing, no PDFs are there. Currently all are the folders are empty, right. So once I run this upload bulk PDF, so there will be PDF of 8 PDF respective, which will be uploaded via VBA through OneDrive. So yeah, so let's try and just run this button. So yeah, let's go. As you can see, the code is running, the button has been pressed, it gone to dashboard. It will firstly select the P1 partner on the leftmost slicer, and then it will come up to the report partner. It will export the PDF and it will upload it to the OneDrive. So the P1 partner has been done, and now it is doing the job for the P2, and the same job will be done for all the 8 partners. Okay, so now you can see that all the 8 PDFs have been uploaded to the OneDrive, and there is a message popping up saying that all the files are uploaded on OneDrive. It will take some 10 to 15 seconds to appear them on the directory. So ideally it takes usually 2 to 3 seconds. So let's go to the OneDrive and let's hop into each of the partners. Right now it's showing nothing, but once you refresh, ideally it should show. As you can see, here is the P1 PDF. If you go to the P4, there is a P4 PDF. If you go to the P7, it is P7 PDF, and just open up the PDF, it will be nothing but the print of whatever the Excel is there, right? So this was about your upload bulk PDF. Now let's go to our upload bulk Excel. So let's go to the dashboard first of all, and now let's move to the database sheet on which there is a button called as upload bulk Excel. So here, as you can see, there are 2 directories. One is the directory of the OneDrive on which the files will be uploaded, and one is the local directory for the time being, temporary for the time being, that will be stored. So this is the directory. I will show you the directory. Here it is the directory test. So right now, as you can see, there are no folders of all the 8 partners, but the code will first check if the folders are present. Whatever the files which has been including in that folder, it will overwrite, but if the folders are not present, it will automatically create the folders. So right now there are no folders, but once we run the code, the folders will appear on this directory. So just let's press the upload bulk Excel. It will take some time, but yeah, let's go. As you can see, I just run the code. Now it will do, it will copy all this 8 Excel, and right now it's open up the P1 partner. Now it will do some kind of the transformation. It will delete all the partners client data except the P1. It has done, and it has also uploaded to the share OneDrive. Sorry, it is now doing the job for P2, and the job is very much similar for all the remaining 7 partners. It's now doing for the P5 partner. Will take almost now 5 to 6 seconds for the remaining 3 partners. As you can see, all the 8 partners respective dashboard has been uploaded on the OneDrive, and there is a message popping up saying that the files have been uploaded and it will take for 10 seconds. So let's jump first of all the directory. As you can see here, there are 8 folders which has been present, and in each folders we have the respective, what we can say, the partner. Let's just open up the partner 4 the dashboard. As you can see, it is for the partner 4, so we need to enable the content because the Power Query connections. And as you can see, the partner P4, only the respective data for that partner is present. And if you move to the database sheet, right, and there are only the P4 clans. There are no clans other than the P4. Let's say P1 clans are not present, so that has been deleted. So yeah, now I just say don't save, and let's go to the OneDrive. In the OneDrive, ideally there has to be this Excels, but right now it's not showing up. But I will just press yeah, refresh, and yeah, you can see here the Excel file are also there, right? If you go, so now for every one partner, there are 2 files which has been uploaded to the OneDrive. So guys, now it's time to show you the last flow of the Power Automate. So now we have uploaded all the reports, namely 2 reports, namely the one is respect to dashboard as well as the PDF via VBA on the OneDrive. And on Monday, this flow will trigger at 1 PM, which will take out these 2 files and will mail it to the respective audit managers. Now for the sample purpose, I have taken again this mail ID. So once I run this flow with the manual trigger, you will see around 8 mails to this mail ID. So let's go to this flow and just run this flow. It will take time because it is taking the data from the OneDrive and then mailing also to the provided mail ID. So I will just go for the test and we'll go a manual trigger test and then run flow. Done. Now let's see the flow. Let's monitor the flow whether it's running or not. So it has picked up the metadata from the OneDrive. It will also pick up the content from the OneDrive. Okay, so I can see some of the mails are sent. Okay, 2 to 3 mails have been sent. Let's see. how many mails? Okay, we got one mail. We'll just refresh. Okay, we got two mails here. So we'll take some time. We'll keep it as it is, and once the flow has been successfully run, we will see an update here. As you can see, our flow has run successfully. So ideally on our mail there has to be new 8 emails, and all these emails should have the respective part of dashboard as well as the PDF. So as you can see here, there are 8 emails. Let's count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. And as you can see here, the P1 is there, then 7 8 4 2 5 6. You can see there are all unique, so that means our flow ran successfully. So yeah, that's it for this video. I know it's a very long video. This might be one of the longest video I put on YouTube, but yeah, I just want to upload this video of my dashboard. It was one of the most interesting project I did with my organizations. I know that we can use a better tool known as the Power BI for the dashboard, but right now I'm in the positions I have not knowledge about the Power BI, but yeah, I have the plans to learn the Power BI, and who knows, maybe I will make this dashboard convertible from the shift from the Excel to Power BI. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to like this video, and if you have any doubts, any queries, put that in comment section. I will try to solve as many as is possible. And yeah, do share this video with your friends to beat the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, till then, bye bye.